All right, let's go. Okay, well, into the tutorial, let's go. Simple enough. Very like Silicon Zeros so far as the basic UI goes. Okay. Interesting. I have to tighten up the resistance on the mouse wheel a little bit. Otherwise, this is going to be hell. Better. Okay. Like that. Guess we have some branches, of course. Okay. What are we trying to do? Stamp 1 blue, 2 red. Okay. Guess we can go like that. Okay, yeah, it's not gonna let me delete stuff. Okay. So if we start here, yeah, I think this is the right one. And then another blue. Like that. Except, oh wait, no, we can go here. Like that. It's horribly inefficient, but it functions. Okay. So, remove all commands in the robot tapes before producing it to the exit. This should be very easy. Right and left facing scanners, okay. We'll come in straight, and then we will take a scanner, it doesn't matter which one. And like that, should work. Come through here, if it's red, then it goes this way and feeds back in. If it's blue, it goes that way, feeds back in, otherwise it goes straight. Yes, that is indeed how they work. Okay. Yay! Need 4 or less, got 8. Okay, so I guess we could make a longer line to do it more efficiently. But it's kind of interesting. Well, just like Silicon Zeros, the various kinds of achievements are, you can't do them both in the same machine. Okay, replace all red with blue and then produce. Okay. So we will produce a row bit that way. And then we will do like so. Now, for every red, we want to stamp it with a blue and feed it back into the system. And then once it hits a blue output, I think, no, because if it hits a blue, let me think about this for a bit. If we stamp it with a blue, and then every red gets sent back to be stamped. Wait a second. Okay. I think we can do like that. Yeah, because we'll create an extra blue on entry and remove the extra blue on exit. Yeah, I think this is gonna work. Looks like it's gonna work anyway. Yay! That was surprisingly easy. Ooh. Minimum time. Minimum number of scanners and stampers. And smallest area. I guess there's some tests that can be completed all in one. That's pretty cool. I'm tempted to redo this one to try for a shorter time. Okay. So I think the solution here, we're just removing commands. So if we feed the robot in, wait, no, we can't just put another one. Maybe if they only feed us this exact pattern, we could make a really specialized machine. Okay, do we have any other tools that would be useful? I think we just need to sacrifice area. We want to make it work. Okay. So the test is red, blue, red. So let's go red, blue, red. Yeah, that got us both rewards. Not at the same time, but they got us both rewards. Okay. These don't have any rewards? Okay. Use pipes to produce red, blue, red, red, blue, blue. Okay, what do pipes do? Sends robots through itself in a straight line. Oh, so we can make like a crossover with a pipe. Interesting. Okay. So we need red. Blue. Red, red. This needs to be a pipe. It's red, blue, red, red, then blue, blue. Okay. Now, problem with that. Oh. That should work. Yeah. Yay. Onward we go. I kind of like the style of the cutscenes. What passes for cutscenes. Okay. So, junk robots enter your assembly line with an empty tape. Accept the rest, sending them to the exit. Okay. So, the easy, immediate solution to this is going to be go like this, and then do we not get stampers? Oh, I guess it doesn't matter. Because the tape doesn't have to be in any given state. We can just do that when we're done. Okay. Got a maxed out metals, which I guess makes sense. That's a pretty simple puzzle. Maya was overcomplicating it in my brain. Okay. Accept robots that enter with 2 blue at the start of their tape, sending them to the exit. Junk the rest. And we don't have to replace the information in the tape. So this will be really easy. Do robot entry. I think actually if we do like that, and then that would be 2 blue, and like so. That's kind of inefficient, but workable. Okay. We haven't got metal for area. Need 9 or less, got 12. Okay, let's see if we can fix that. I'm fairly certain we can fix that, actually. You just need to remove one of these. Like that. That'll make the system a little bit slower because white ones will have to go through. Ta-da! Okay. Let's do this one and then the next two. Accept robots enter with at least 1 red and 1 blue. Junk the rest. The tape will be a mix of 0 to 13. Okay. This could be interesting. Okay. So, if it has a red or a blue, we let it through. If it doesn't have either, we junk it. And then on these, we need to go like that. We junk any that make it through, and we accept any that make it through there. Think that'll work? All right. Haven't gotten the metal for the longest time. A robot took. Needs 16 or less, got 27. Haven't got the metal for area. Needs 9, got 15. Okay. Time to go through. That means these probably need to be replaced with if we do like this. Okay, wait a second here. Can I move the whole area? I don't think it'll let me move the whole area. That's unfortunate. I should start building closer to the middle. Let's see. Want you. And you. And then if it's red, it goes back that way. If it's blue, it goes this way to be accepted. And vice versa over here. Discard. definitely going to blow the size requirements out of the water, but it should meet the speed one. Yes, that got us the speed one. Okay, now for size. Ooh, boy. Okay, let's delete everything that we don't need from our previous one. Now, this is the old one. Now we have a full 2 rows we need to remove from somewhere. Although it doesn't have to be... No, that's still too large. Okay. Let me think. If we turn these around, so that white's feed in there, that means that actually works. I bet you that'll work just fine. It'll make it a little slower, but it will work. Yay, you've got all gold. Okay. Using test mode, produce a robot with red, blue, red on its tape. Okay, that's easy. Red, blue, red. Boring and easy. Okay. Using test mode, produce a robot which has red, blue, blue, red on its tape when it reaches the exit. Okay, so we need blue to pass the first. Okay, that'll get stripped off, and then it needs red, blue, blue, and that should function. Yep. Okay. So far, I mean, we are still in the easy part of it, but so far we've managed to get gold and everything. Hasn't required too much mind bending yet, but having played Silicon Zero before, I know where this is going. Also, Zactronic games in general, which of this is very much a inspired by sort of thing. Or in the same genre, I should say. I don't know which came first. The original Manufactoria was pretty old. Junk robots to enter with any red on their tape. Okay, that means we're going to have to read the whole tape. So, I'm going to go like this. We can reduce the size of this considerably if we do that. This should work fine. I don't see any way to make it more compact, although I'm sure there's ways to make it a lot faster by making it a little larger. Okay. Indeed, we have a medal for going faster, or we need to get a medal for going faster. So, go like this. Any red gets junked. So the solution here is blue is going to be the most common one. We accept any of those. We burn any of those. This should run at the minimum speed. I think. Yes, there we go. All right. Junk robots to enter with any blue after red, except the rest. Okay. But we can have blue before red. Okay. So, incoming robot. We do like this, I think is going to be the easy way to do it. Then we do another one. Junk these. Recycle those. Accept those. These also get accepted, I think, because they would have blue but no red. Okay. This should get us probably not any rewards, but we'll see. Oh. We got minimum number of scanners and stampers, so that's a start. We need to fit in less space, and we need to go faster. Faster is easy enough. We get rid of this, and then we just make the thing bigger. Okay. Reds keep cycling back and forth. Blues get burned. Oh wait, this still isn't going to be fast enough. It's a step in the right direction, but it's still not fast enough. We need to have a setup like this. Okay. This probably is going to break, though, is the problem if we do it this way. We can do that, though. Oop. That's correct. Now, this needs to feed into its own copy of this whole mess over here. And we don't have the space left for that. Okay. And then we go like that. I think it'll work. Hello, Azure. What's happening is that I discovered that Manufactoria was out already. I did not pay attention to when its release date was, so I got surprised. So we're going to play this today. And despite everything I said about playing X4. Okay, let's see if we made a reward. Yes, we did. Minimum time. Perfect. Took the habitations off because they were costing money and you didn't have enough silicon to consistently even have one running. Well, it's just a matter of building more miners. I think you can set a desired population. Not sure if that would work to save you the food resources. Usually, I don't bother with habs until I have plenty of money to supply them in the first place, and in the second place, I have a decent industry going. They provide a boost, but they're not required. Okay, what do we have here? Small size. This is going to be tricky. At least we don't have to worry about speed. Okay. So, junk robots with any blue after red. So, if they have any blue at all, that's acceptable. If they have nothing on them, that's acceptable. Now, I think if we go like this, it'll work. Nope. What? Okay, robot enters. It has a blue to start with. Oh, duh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Yeah, okay. I'm not thinking. Robot comes in. If it's got a red to start with, it goes here. And then okay. If it has a bunch of blues, that's fine. Put a screenshot in Discord. Oh, what all you got on there? Ah, it's too small. I can't read on that monitor. Yeah, I can hardly read the text because the monitor's too small. I'll look at it after stream. Looks pretty cool from what I can see of it. Also, this game kills audio whenever you click outside of it, which is bad. Games shouldn't do that. Okay, so blue. More blue is acceptable. If you find a red, this isn't going to work. Yeah, that's not gonna work. Damn it. Okay, so this part works. As long as it starts with a red, it works fine. It feeds into here. If it starts with a blue, if it starts with red, then any blues mean it gets dumped. Any red means just keep eating it until it's white and then feed back. So that's nice and straightforward. This side's the problem though, because if it's red, I somehow need to get it back to here. I wonder if I can... Okay, so if you find a red here, do I get any stampers? No, I don't. That's unfortunate. Because if I could... Well, no, a stamper wouldn't help, I guess. Because it would be to put it at the end instead of the beginning. I need to put it at the beginning. Okay, so this isn't going to work, I'm sure. Because if it finds a blue here, that'd be a blue after a red, and it would feed it back. So somehow we need to what we really need to do is somehow plumb this up to feed into here, but I don't think that's going to be possible. Unless I feed the robots in here. That eat all the starting blue, and then they either get fed out or they get a red and get fed into the system for that part of it. Okay. So if we did... This is hurting my brain. Okay, so this eats all the starting blue off. And then they either exit white or they eventually hit a red. At this point, we need to strip red and discard if it's actually red. Or discard if we find any blue. And we can't do like this. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to restructure this whole thing. Okay, strip blue. If it's red, it feeds into here. If we get any blue, burn it. We get red. Keep going. That's actually really elegant. And really, it's just the previous design rotated. Let's try this. No, it's working. Okay. Yay, we made it. Okay, on to the next one. Except only robots that enter with 3 blue in a row anywhere in their tape. Junk the rest. Okay. This is going to be interesting. So, if we find 3 blue in a row, then we proceed forward. Except this isn't going to work. So what we need is something. Yeah, let's just make a giant thing that works. Okay. If it's blue, it goes in there. If it's blue, it goes in there. If it's blue, after all that, it gets dumped. Otherwise, it returns to the beginning and recycles. So this should probably work. Nope. Oh, they get stuck if they're all white. Okay, so what we would need to do that would be handling the whites differently. Which is actually going to be a bit of a problem. At least for compactness. Okay. So anything that gets white gets burned instantly. That should work. Oh. Rejected a perfectly good robot. Oops. Oh. That's a problem. This one's rejecting. Okay, I can see this getting much larger very quickly. Also, that feeds right into there. That's not good. Okay. This design is really terrible. There's no way it's making gold in anything. So. Basically, if it's red, it's dead. Or rather, if it's white, it gets burned. If it's red, it goes back to be recycled. That one's not gonna work. Or wait, yeah, well. Okay, this goes out here. Blue goes there, blue goes there, blue goes there. Boom. That's way simpler and more compact, and it might actually work. Reds all eventually end up back here. Okay, I think that's actually gonna work. Okay. Oh. That works for a number of scanners and stampers. Longest time is way too long. Smallest size is also way too large. Okay, so let's go for smallest time first. Okay, we accept robots only that enter with 3 blue in a row. I just realized if we strip all reds and then okay, so we strip all the reds off and then we check them to see if they have blues. Like so. Okay, this is gonna have to be modified a little bit because we can't make it perfectly symmetrical. Maybe we could. Let's look at just this half for now. So it feeds in here. If it's got reds, they get rid of all the reds. Once it ends up, let's say it ends up here with a blue. And it goes 1, 2. These are going to have to feed back into the beginning. Unfortunately, I think we're blowing our time budget with this belt right here. I think we've just blown our time budget. 0 to 9, random ones on their tape, okay. There's no pattern we can exploit. There's got to be something I'm missing about this. Some way to do it. Did we get... Okay, we got metal for number of scanners. So we need it. There's no way to do it with less than 3. Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Okay, if we get... Actually, wait, if we get a red here, we can't have a... If we get a red here, we feed back into the red eater. Because obviously. And then that would be 3 blues in a row, so we accept. Okay. We get a red, we feed back into the red eater. Oops. Okay. Those get burned, and these get recycled. Like so. Oh. Oh, dumped a robot on the floor. Oops. Well, that's easy enough, because white ones get burned. Okay. Yay, minimum time. Alright. Now we just need to get it back to small size. So for this is the amount of space I'm allowed it. Okay. So I can't rotate any of these, I don't think. Not really. This one can be rotated. Okay. That I think will actually work. Kinda slow, but it meets the compactness requirements. Okay. Door opener. Accept robots that enter with 3 red or 3 blue in a row, anywhere on their tape. Junk the rest. So this is the same thing as before, except with the additional wrinkle that 3 red are also acceptable, so we can't just immediately recycle the reds. Okay. Whoa. This is going to be tricky. We accept our input robots. We split them like so. Okay. We can't reject either of these. Actually we can. This side can reject reds, and that side can reject blues. Okay. And then, from here, we need to do something like that, except the other way around. accept those. We can reject those. And we burn those. And I think that might work. Nope. Red, blue. Oh. Shit. Okay, so the problem is the way this reject setup is. We need to reject onto this line. Okay. So we get a red coming through. If it is red, it keeps going. If it's blue, it gets rejected to the beginning. And if it is red again, it keeps going. If it's red again, it gets accepted. If it's blue again, it gets rejected to the beginning. Oh, I just had a moment. Realized something here. Wait, no, we can't reject whites that direction. We can, however, do like this. Reject all whites back to the beginning. No, this needs to be here. Do like that. That's not going to work because these need to reject in some direction other than the input. Because if white rejects to the input, it'll circulate forever. So this has to reject there. Which does mean that we can do like so, but however we're stuck once again with the blue going the wrong place. And we can't reject like that. We can't do like that though. This is going to be a bit slow. Okay. Like so. I think that might work. Nope. Red, blue. Red, red. Oh, oops. I forgot to put burst incinerators up here. Because those couldn't reject back down into this incinerator like the rest of them could. Uh-oh. Red, red, or red, blue. Blue, blue. White. Okay. So we got a red. And then it has a... Oh. That's a problem. Because if it rejects over here on a blue, we can't feed it into the start. We need to feed it into the second step of the blue side, and vice versa. That's unfortunate. How are we even going to handle that? I guess we'll go for the brute force method for now. Wait, no, we can't. That isn't gonna work. We don't have stampers, so we can't re-add the color, and even if we could, it wouldn't work probably. There's probably a really simple solution to this, sitting right in front of my nose. Okay, let's think about this a little bit more. We need to identify 3 in a row. It doesn't matter which kind of 3 in a row, just 3 in a row. Let's delete this whole mess. Okay, so if we okay, so okay, blue will feed in here. If it's a red, it'll cycle over there. Rejects with blue. Then we go back to the start. If it rejects with red, we go back to the start. No, that's wrong. We go back to step 2. In the same way here. If it's white, it gets incinerated. Like that, I think might actually work. No. Okay, so it's 3 reds. Oh, I screwed this up big time, didn't I? Yeah, okay. This is wrong. Alright. And these don't get rejected back. Those are the successes. What was I thinking? I didn't even put in a place for successes. Okay, red, blue. Oh, that can't go back all the way. That has to go back to the second step back here. Okay. So you guys... Okay. That is a moderate issue. We can't just shuffle them across like we can down here. So this level is more complicated. Problem is we're dumping the white ones in here. Is there anywhere I can dump white ones that isn't going to cause them, like if I can rotate this in some direction? Not really. Do a screenshot of your second station too when you have time to look. Stations are so beautiful and your graphics are on low. Yeah, it is a quite pretty game. Surprisingly so for what it is, I guess I should say. It's not like a super fancy AAA visual extravaganza or anything, but they did a pretty good job of the station parts and chips and stuff. Looks nice. Okay. If we put those there, the problem is, once again, okay. If it's red again, it gets accepted. If it's blue, if it's white, it gets burned. If it's blue, it gets sent back and fed in here. Like so. Which means this probably needs to be a crossover. Like that. Burn those. This is terribly inefficient, but I hope this works. It probably doesn't, but oh, yep. Oh. That's why it didn't work, because I missed a couple burn barrels. Is this actually going to function? It does. Yeah, that's kind of a monstrosity, but it works. And we got the medals for minimum number of scanners. Area, we need 30 or less. Let's try for area next. Okay. That's still too much. Oh, I know an easy way to... Okay, I know an easy way to save some space. Like that. That should actually be the exact same machine, just improved, and it should function perfectly. Alright. So that gets us the space. Now we just need to get time. So, for time, we just need to not shuffle these way out around like this. So somehow this needs to feed directly into there. I wonder... if we can do... Okay. I highly doubt this is going to work. Yeah, because this needs to feed in there. This would probably be another way to compact it, I guess. But it's not going to be any faster. Or at least not enough faster. I wonder if we can build dedicated In this case, space doesn't matter at all. We can build as huge as we want, it just has to move quickly. So for starters, we extend that because it makes it a little bit faster. And then I think there's got to be a way to move sections around. Aha, there we go. Okay. Let's grab that, move it over there. Okay, so, that wasn't going to work. Then again. I do like that. Hello, Bospero. Yes, I'm playing Manufactoria 2022. It's pretty good. I never played the original Manufactoria. So okay. That's unfortunate. Well, it's not like I have a whole lot of nostalgia for games of the ancient past, but you've been training in aircraft mechanics stuff when it's been a slog? Oh, I bet. Doesn't sound easy. Okay. So this is blue this way, blue that way, blue that way. Okay, these are gone, dead. This is actually unfortunate because I just realized we can't do what we were doing. Well, that needs to go there. These need to be recycled back to that isn't correct. You always leave a Twitch tab open to my stream because it's calming. Well, I'm glad you enjoy it. Okay. So, okay, that gets burned. Now, these, if it comes in here, it needs to be fed into this one and vice versa. It's the vice versa part that is actually a problem. As long as they were across from each other, we could just shuffle them across. This one is actually, I think, the first genuinely hard one for me anyway. Okay, so this is the one that had the best run time. This part up here, I think, is about as optimal as it's possible to get. The problem is the whole system for reshuffling these to here and these to here is so bad that it just kind of kills the whole design. The problem is, I'm not sure how I can do it a lot better. Actually, that's not true. I do know how I can do a lot better. And that would be to do like this. That's some better. If I went like this, that would maybe be better yet. It's like knowing how many threads are in, like knowing how many threads are in an AN 320 bolt instead of just using a thread gauge. That sounds like all the fun things to try to remember. Oh. That's an immediate reject because... Of course it is. Why did I even think that was going to work? Okay. Now the problem is any ones that are get to be the white staging right here are going to be stuck shuffling back and forth. I don't know. Yeah. Okay, it's just 3 to 9 of both red and blue with no patterning or anything like that that we can abuse to make it easier. The problem here is that I don't know if making these paths shorter is even going to help enough. Let's go back up to the main menu here. How much do we need to save? Need 26 or less. Got 48. So it's about half as fast as it can be. So, or I should say has to be. I think we're just being insufficiently ambitious. As in, we need to build a much larger construct. Completely don't worry about making compact at all. Just... Okay, so this part is about as optimal as we can get it, I think. problem is that these and these need to be fed into a system. Also, that should help speed a little tiny bit. I think this little pattern right here pretty much has to be part of it. Okay, so these need to be fed into effectively a duplicate of the system. Looking at this and I'm thinking if I could turn it 90 degrees and attach it to the side here directly. But then the problem is there's no good way to make a bidirectional U-turn. So this just kind of has to be this way, this group. If we took and copied this group and somehow attached it down here, like so. Okay. Now, the problem here this isn't going to work. You have a station making silicon wafers, you're trying to get them sent to another station and system. The way to get them sent, if you just want to send them without caring at all about just get them out one to the other with no unconditionally, you can just set up a trader to just ship them as fast as you can, and until one is full or the other is empty is the easy way to do it. If you're a little more worried about conditions, then obviously it's a bit more complicated, but okay, let's try this. This isn't going to work, but let's try it. Oh, yeah, duh. Okay, let's take a look at this one again. This is red, red, blue. Red, red, blue. At this point... Oh, duh. I forgot an extremely important part of this whole design. Like that. Red, red, blue, red. Okay, oops. I think this side is bugged. Look at this for a second here. Come through, red, red, blue. Oops, okay. So now we're doing blues. Blue, blue, out. On the other hand, if it goes blue, red, red, this should recycle it somewhere. So these are not correct. Wait. No, that's not right. Okay, this part's right. If they're blue here, then they get fed across here. If they're red, which they could be. Okay, wait. Let's follow the main circuit here. Red is this way. If it's red, blue, red, red. Okay, that's correct. I mean, obviously this part of it works. Now, if we get here, it's red, gets correct. Okay, red, blue, red would get accepted. That's incorrect. Yeah, this is extremely wrong. Okay. So what this needs to feed into is this one here. I think. Because I wish I could just send them back the other way. Obviously that'd probably result in all kinds of false positives. Because if you get a red, blue, blue, then it would go like that, but yeah, this down here is not going to work at all. Completely non-functional. Mostly nonsensical. If I remember correctly, rejects from here had to feed into here, and rejects from here had to feed into here. So if we were to, let's just delete all this quickly. If we were to feed this into one of these, stick it here. Okay, actually, I like that. That's gonna be a major failure, though. If I build two of these back to back, actually, that would probably be the way to go. I just realized. Okay. Yeah, if I build mirrored setups, then I can just send them okay, let's build it first here. Now, oh wait, that's not like that. I think this might work. Just did your first controlled trade between two stations. Saw when someone did a video earlier today. Okay, oops. This one needs to feed into... Man, I got a half right. Okay, so you and you both need to feed into each other's stuff. And the way to do that okay, this isn't going to be as simple as I thought it might be. Which is story of my life and all that. Okay, so this one needs to feed into this one. The problem is that this one needs to feed into this one, which we can probably do like this. The other problem with that, though, is that actually going to be fast enough? And the answer is, I have not the faintest idea. But we're going to find out in a minute here. Oops. That was rigged wrong. Okay. Oh, wait. Okay. So he got 2 reds and then rejected on a blue. And then he's supposed to come over here to a blue side. Oh, this is backwards, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. I think I mirrored a little too aggressively here. I think they actually have to be identical. Let me run through this. Actually, nothing is feeding into here, so why is this set up? Okay, so initial input. Red, red, red goes in there. Red, red, blue. Okay, so we have 1 blue. 2 blue, 3 blue goes in here. Okay, so that is correct. We come here, then we have 1 red. Come there, 2 red, go there. Okay, it might work now. Question is it any faster? All those conveyor belts are going to suck up time. 26 or less got 36. Okay, so that's less than what we got before, but it's still too much by a lot. The problem is both sides have to be able to feed back to each other. I think I'm overthinking it a little bit. Okay, so this is the best run time so far. It's still too slow though. Yeah, our problem is this mess in the middle. We need to get rid of it completely. But this one needs to feed into here, and this one needs to feed into there, and there's no good way to do that crossover. And the same on this side. I'm wondering though, It's so elegant how these two can just shuffle back and forth between each other and it works beautifully, but I'm beginning to think that this centerpiece is blinding me to better solutions because of how elegant it is. I'm unwilling to tear it apart. I think that's causing problems. But I really don't want to tear it apart. I wonder if I am maybe orienting it a little wrong. The problem is they have to shuffle back and forth between, it has to be in two halves, you know, a red half and a blue half. And when it fails the one half, it has to shuffle over to the other half. It can't just go back into the root. Unless I design the whole circuit, assuming that if I design it for doing 2 in a row and build two in a row setups, which I guess that's what these are, 2 in a row setups. No, that's kind of what I already have. It's effectively a 2 in a row setup that is fed by a 1 in a row setup. Okay, let's delete most of this just to visually clear up what's going on here. We can get it back easily enough just by clicking a button. Basically, this side and this side are independent. The problem is they need to feed each other as well. Because if it's rejected from the one side, it needs to be fed into the input of the other side. So these are the inputs for the sides. Any rejection from this side needs to be fed into the input on this side. So that's what this bridge is, basically. It's a fancy way of very easily and quickly. So the first rejection is handled. Sort of. The second rejection is the problem, because it has to go a much longer distance. And they need to cross each other somewhere in the middle. If I could somehow make it so that they don't have to do that on the second rejection, it might make the first rejection slower. But if you can make the second rejection enough faster, it might be enough to make it work. Because right now the first rejection is as optimal as it can possibly be. Pretty much, I think. So if they get rejected at the inputs for these subcomponents. And I thought by building a second one of these, it would be easier because then I could just shuffle them across straight into the inputs here. The problem with that is that these rejections also need to be shuffled somewhere, namely into these inputs, probably because they're the most easily accessible. I should probably stop beating my head against this puzzle and move on, but I really don't want to give up my gold on everything so far. If I could find some way to make sure that they can't ever reject on one side or the other. Okay, maybe the solution is actually to erase that and erase that. That's unnecessary. And have it so that these feed in. Okay, let me think about this for a minute. We'll worry about the input later, I think. We have these two identical sides. One red, one blue. If we did like that, I don't think they would function. Because this side needs to feed into here. This also needs to feed into here. Yeah. So like that would work if there was a way to cross this over through here easily. Wait, what am I thinking? What am I even doing here? Okay, you need to get fed in like that. And you that's not right. This rejection needs to be fed into there, and that rejection needs to be fed into there. Oh, wait. Maybe this can work. This rejection needs to be fed into here. Which we can do if we feed it across and put it in there. However, we can't do that for a variety of reasons. Wait a second. Yes, actually we can. If you do like that. Is this actually going to function? Obviously there's no input for this system. We need to figure out where we can put an input. We need to effectively feed it into somewhere so that let's just make this monstrosity work. What we need is for wait, okay, we better follow this. Where are you even gonna put an input? Because the input needs to send red ones to this side and blue ones to that side. And the easiest way to do that would actually be like this. The problem is then the white ones need to go somewhere. Can I like that? This is like the jankiest thing I've ever done. I'm pretty sure this isn't going to beat the speed, but Okay, it's getting shuffled around too much. Okay, what this should do, it's red, so it should go over that side. That side's for blue. Oops. Okay, this is screwed up somehow. It's red. I built both sides for blue. Oops. Okay. This is the side for red. Which means up, over, down. Okay, yeah, this should work now. Whether it's faster is a completely different story. It is exactly the same speed as the old one, I think. No, this is slower. The problem is the input. Oh, I'm an idiot. We can do... wait. We can do like this. Okay. That'll remove at least a little bit. This is not going to help at all. I need to figure out a much less dense way to do this, but let's try it again. Make sure it still functions. Oh, it doesn't function. Why? Because we're probably sending them to the wrong side, that's why. Yeah, we're sending them to the wrong side. Okay. What's our time? Still the same. Does it show the time for this anywhere? Here we go. Let's run this. Let's edit it. It's still this NA. That's weird. Don't you know how long the thing you just ran took? Oh, here we go. Current score is 58. Okay, that's really bad. That's really bad. Let's load up the one with the best time. That is actually this thing? This is the fewest. So this monstrosity actually got the best runtime. You know what? Screw it. We can just not be the best on one thing. Let's go do something a little, hopefully, easier. Accept robots to enter with an even number of commands. 0 is even. Junk the rest. Okay. There. Now, for an odd number of commands, we want to accept anything that isn't white at this point. Or, you know, feed it back into the system. Which we can do like this. This probably isn't going to win any compactness awards. Let's try that. Okay, that actually worked. What did we win? We finished for speed and area. We need to get rid of one scanner to make it smaller. We can do that just fine. The solution to that is to rebuild it. So that... let me think about this for a second. I'm guessing with less scanners, it's probably going to be larger and slower. Which means... that this is a perfectly reasonable... No, wait, that's not going to work. Okay. So red or blue need to be fed into this one. I'm being an idiot again, I can feel it. Okay. And then red or blue get fed back to the start. It doesn't matter if we're large and slow for this, we're just trying to save scanners. And that should work. Next time you do a manual trade, you're going to pause it first and cancel whatever the ship is doing first. Ship orders can be interesting at times. Yay, all gold. This one's going to annoy me forever. Okay. Accept robots that enter with an odd number and an odd number of blue. Junk the rest. Ooh. There's no patterning to the tape. Oh, fun, fun. How are we going to do this one? Odd number of red and odd number of blue, which means we're going to have to split at the start. White was even, I think they said. So we burn those. Except it's and. So we're going to have to build each side. So that it accepts wow, this can be really tricky. I don't think brute forcing it's going to work because I don't think we really have enough area. But effectively, what we need to do is we need to put a circuit over here that detects an odd number of blue, a circuit over here that detects an odd number of red, and then over here we need a circuit that detects an odd number of red, and over here we need one that detects odd of blue. If it passes either side, it gets saved, otherwise it gets dumped. The problem is okay, do we have any stampers or anything like that? Doesn't look like it. Okay. So we can't do measure reds, replace any blues you find, then measure blues, replace any reds you find, or something like that. This one's actually really hard. Just conceptually, how am I going to do this? Sort of hard. Because the more I think about it, the harder it seems. Because if I can't just count blues and then feed it into a thing to count reds because I can't just reject out of the system. I need to have some way that it remembers, which means there's no memory, so we have to deal with remembering by where it is in the system. But it needs to remember the current count of both. So we need to effectively have like 4 different counters. A counter that is counting blues where it currently has, oh, that doesn't quite make sense either. My poor brain. So we need to effectively count blues and reds simultaneously somehow. I mean, conceptually, it's very simple. If I had like variables and other similar actual programming bits, but doing it with the machinery presented in this game in a compact way, or a fast way, or even just any way, is a completely different story. Because effectively, okay, so we do this. It's got a blue, goes here, 2 blue, it comes back. If it has 2 blue, it gets dumped. Goes here, comes back, got 2. If it comes back, it's got 2 of the same color and gets dumped. You know, if it comes 2 of the same color, and then so that can strip out pairs. And then actually maybe this is way harder than I'm trying to make it. Try this. And then we accept either of those. I think that might actually work. No. Okay. That one had a single red. Oh. We've got... Okay. This machine works for... It has an odd number of either without having an even number of the other. So it handles most of, but not quite all of, the condition. The missing bit is that it has to have both odd. Like, okay, this example here, let's use testing mode to make that. This should work. Because see, it rejects for red. Nope. Because these are even. Oh yes, because this can't reject to the middle, it has to reject to there. The problem I'm having is that I can't consolidate everything into groups. If I could make sure that it was always going to be all the reds first and then all the blues first, this would be very easy. And if I had a stamper, I could maybe not do that, but get a step in the right direction at least. No, that would just make it more complicated without actually helping anything. Yeah, the problem is we can't feed the rejects back to the center, because that doesn't function. The rejects have to be fed into the other sides. Oh, I wonder... Wait a second here. Is it time for this thing to rise and shine? This isn't going to handle the logical AND case though either. Let me think about this for a second though. Okay, so we come in here. If it's red, it goes to here. If it's blue, we need to go... Okay, let's just try this and watch how it fails. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't handle the logical AND case. I guess we're gonna have to do tests. So blue, red. This is gonna get accepted erroneously. Yep. Okay, this is like completely wrong. It's not even close. Let's get back to the closest we've ever been, which was here. Yeah, there's no way that's gonna work. Problem I have is the logical AND case. This thing's delightfully compact and handles most of it. That's not right, definitely for sure. Yeah, this is what I had originally. And the reason this fails is because if we reject with... You know what? Actually, I might have an idea how to make this work. partially. This obviously isn't going to win any competitions as far as... It still doesn't handle the logical AND case, I don't think, but let's look at this and run through it quick. Okay, so... I think it might handle this case. No, okay. But let's look at why not first. So blue goes there. Okay. So if there had been no red, it would have accepted it. Which is wrong, keeping in mind. But we are right in that it is an odd number of blues, and therefore... Okay. So now we reject this on the grounds, or we send it off to the side on the grounds that at this point we know we have an odd number of reds. Because we couldn't have got here any other way. Actually, I don't know if that's true. Okay. I think that these need to be burned, I think. Now this circuit is completely wrong. In a lot of many ways that... Man, we just kind of suddenly went over a difficulty cliff, huh? I'm probably missing something really stupid and simple that would make this easy. The problem is that there's no easy way to remember anything. So while it's very straightforward to make a count all the blues and make sure they're odd, or count all the reds and make sure they're odd, trying to make it count both, I'm missing something. I have to be. There's no patterns to the input. No, there are not. There's nothing useful in here. Okay, so we feed it in here. If it's white, we dump it. That's correct. If it's blue, we go here. The problem is we can't do this like that. We can do like this. Red. We're at 1 red, 2 red. If it's white now, dump it. blue. 2 blue. If it's white here, dump it. Okay. If it is white here, then also dump it because it doesn't have an odd number of reds, because it doesn't have any reds. Now, it's blue, goes here. We have an odd number of blues currently, but no reds. So blue again, goes here. Even number of blues, dump it. So if it comes off the top here, we have currently an even number of blues and an odd number of reds. If it comes off the top here, we currently have an even number of reds and an odd number of blues. If it comes off the bottom, we currently have odd numbers of everything. So these then can get dumped straight back into the input, I think. Let's look at this for a moment. No, we can't, because if they're white at this point, then they're good. But if they go here, which is where they're headed, they're going to get dumped if they're white. So what we need to do somehow is feed these into a system that detects if they're white and dumps them into here if they're not. Okay. Like that. This is getting large, but okay, so in theory, we go here, we're blue, go there, we're red, we have 1 blue, 1 red, it should accept it. It goes here, if it's white, these need to be accepts, duh. If it's white, accept them, go there. Okay, if they're red or blue, oops. Okay, this part isn't correct. If we get a red down here, ejecting out here means we have okay. So we go this way, 1 blue, 1 red, 1 blue. Okay, now, oh, if we come in here, we have 2 blue. I got that backwards. Okay, 1 blue, 1 red, 2 red. Okay, no matter what, when we come through here, that isn't correct. Let me think here for a second, though. 1 blue, 1 red. Okay, we have odd numbers of each. When we get here, we're going to have an even number of one of them, no matter what we do. So the question is, where do we go with these? If we go out this side, we have an even number of reds. If we go out this side, we have an even number of blues. For here, if we hit here, we have an even number of blues. So, ta-da, there we go. If we hit here, we have an even number of reds. So that part is still going strong. We still need to deal with these, but it's handled. If we come out here, we have an even number of reds, though, which means we need to go over to this side. And we are very rapidly running out of space. I think we're doing something wrong here. Okay, those are useless. Okay. So for this, if you come out the top, we have an even number of blues. If we come out the bottom, we have odd everything. And just need to keep counting. But this needs to be fed into over here would probably work. What I wanted to do here, like that. If only these could be fed into the middle, that'd work perfectly. Problem is, at this point, we know when we come off here, we know we have 2 reds or 2 blues. We know we have an even number here at this point. If we moved these outward a little bit and did like this, I think we're on the right track, kind of, but also kind of not. I mean, this is perfectly fine. If you feed it one of each, like that, it should function. Yeah. Yay! If you feed it alternating, it still won't work. Okay. So you fed it this, it would get blue, red, blue, and then feed into the non-existent sorter for that up here. Which I think is probably actually the wrong idea. At this point, we have 2 blues. And at least 1 red. Where could we feed it into the system that would make that Actually, I wonder if... that would work. Because... one blue, one red. So it's odd at this point, guaranteed. We have a second blue. And then, how could we accidentally get to one of these? I don't think we could. If we got another red, and then another blue, okay, we're back at odd being our blue odd. But then we would have red even, I think. Yeah, I think we would have red even at that point. Let's make a test for that. Okay, so we go this way, we get a blue. Go this way, we get a red. Yay, we're successful. We go this way, we get a blue. We're at blue even. Come this way, we get a red. Oh. Go this way, we get a blue. And then we end up in the success pit. And that is bad. Because we have red even. I don't think we can ever feed anything back into here. And that's probably bad. Okay, first of all, we can get rid of these. By doing that. That makes it a little more compact. Also gives us more places to feed stuff in. Which might be what's required for some of this. Okay, let me think. We go this way, we get a red, we get a red, we're currently at red even. We go this way, we get blue even. If we just fed it straight back into here, we would have red even. And blue odd at this point. If we go this way again, no, because let's make a test case that'll demonstrate why this is going to fail. Okay, so red, red, blue. Actually, let's put those back so I can test it or demonstrate it. Okay, so red, red, blue. Returns it. Blue again. Blue again. And then red, blue. And that would erroneously end up, because this isn't counting, it's just removing blues. Yeah, see? We have blue even. It did make sure that we had red odd. Is there any way we could feed a red even into it that would make that? I mean, obviously we could do it starting with blue instead of starting with red, but we're testing, since this is basically two halves of the same machine, we're just going to test this side. Wait, get your ass back here. Okay, so that very clearly does not work, which I didn't think it would. But where can we feed those that it will work? If we are currently... Okay, what about this? Let's run through it logically. Red, red, blue, then we're here. So currently we're at blue even, red odd. Which is sort of okay, maybe. If we get blue again, currently we're at both odd. We could dump in there. Otherwise, these need to go somewhere. If it's either color, at this point we're always both odd, I think. Until we go one of these directions. But when we reach this block, we're always both odd. I think. Now, is there a way I can construct a pathological case that breaks that? So red, blue, both odd. Red, 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 blue. Okay, we're still there. Red, 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 blue. Wait, red, red, blue. We're currently at red even, blue odd. Oh, no, wait. If we did red, red, blue, blue, we would get down here with both even. That's bad. Let's run this test to make sure. Red, red, blue. Blue, it breaks. Yeah. Okay. That's closer, though. And more importantly, we can't feed into that, though. The red, red, blue. We're at red odd. No, we tried that before, it doesn't work. I wonder if the solution is probably going to look something like this. Let's see, red, red, blue. We're at red even, blue odd. If you get red again, it needs to go somewhere. Okay, this would be dump it in the fire pit. Red, red, blue, blue. Okay, we're at both even. Red, blue. And we would get here with both odd. So that fixes that problem. However, if we go red, red, blue, red, okay, we're still at all odd. Now, where can we feed it in that that's a valid result? That's where we can feed it in that that's a valid result. So if we ever get here, we're at all odd. The problem is, where do we go with these two? And that problem is a tricky... Okay, so... Don't know if that was a good idea or not. We'll think about this for a second. To get to here, when we get to here, both sides are always going to be odd. Let's go ahead and duplicate this. Like so. Assuming I'm not screwing up my logic out here, missing an edge case. If you get here, we're both odd. If it goes this way, blue is even. If it goes this way, red is even. Okay, so blue even. We need to feed blue evens into... Oh, which side would it be? This is where red evens come in. This is completely throwing any pretenses of efficiency to the birds. Now you... Maybe I've solved it. I doubt it. I strongly doubt this is going to work. Well, let's test it. Oh. Okay, let's take a look at this robot. First, he goes to the red side. Then he goes to blue. Okay, they're currently at both odd, so they're reaching exactly where they're supposed to be. Now, he goes this way, which means red is currently even. So, red is currently even. Boom. Red is odd. Oh. I should probably feed them in. Let me give this a second here. At this point, red is even. Are there any other cases where they can get stuck in here? Yeah, we can't feed those back into there. Because if we do feed them back into there, it breaks the AND logic. So we can't feed back into this machine. If they come out of either of these, then give me a second here. Let me think of this. There's no way to reach here or here unless both are odd. Correct or incorrect? Let me look at this. Red, red, red. If it ends there, then it gets rejected because they're not both. Red, blue, comes down here. Okay, so the problem is this group rejects for... We can't feed back into here. We need to build something similar to this that doesn't reject for all cases. So we need to build something actually very similar to this. pretty much exactly this, matter of fact, I think. But that instead of rejecting on white, accepts on white. Except at specific places in the circuit. We're getting there. I think. I can't help but think I'm being an idiot. I'm missing something. Okay, so if we come off here, then, wait, what was that message? I just got a message on my phone that I think might be important. Okay, apparently the power is out at the house, so it's just issuing some instructions. All right, I'm back to the puzzle. And now I just blew everything I was thinking of out of my brain. Okay, effectively we need to build this circuit again, but down here, and more specialized to handle these exact cases. Because we already know by this point that the red and blue condition is handled. So we just need to handle the reject if either of them are even case. And we can't handle the the reason why side feeding into here didn't work was because this up here does not, it handles the AND case by rejecting under certain circumstances. I wonder if I can generate a pathological case where the AND is true but it still rejects. So we go red, red, blue, blue, no, I don't think I can. Yeah, because unless every case, I think this works perfectly for ensuring the AND case. Because they never escape here unless both are true. But the problem is there's still tape to run. Yeah, because they can only escape from here if they've passed through at least one of each color. So we just need to run out the rest of the tape. Now the question is, how are we going to run out the rest of the tape? I guess if we stop thinking and start constructing. Okay, let me think here. Both are even at this point. We get a blue, we go here. We get another blue, which puts us back to, or both are odd at this point. You go blue, both are even here, or one's even here. If you go this way, both are even, and we can accidentally, okay, we can't have that. If we do like this, the only way to get here is if blues are even. If we go out here, then let me think about this for a second. If we come out here, then both are odd again, and we can dump into there safely. However, which direction do we want to reject outward? Okay, that is burn them with fire if they are white at this point, because then blues are even. If you find another blue, and we're good, we can go that way. If we find a red, then we've got a problem. And that needs to be rejected. Back that way. Except we can't accept at this point. How do we handle this? We could do like that. So blues are even. Reds are now even. So at this point, both of them are even. If they're both of them are even, can we feed them back into the center here and make it work? I think so. The problem is, how would it even reach there to feed it in? I don't think we can. That's a problem. Okay. Let's think about this side of the branch first. If we get here, blues are even. If we get here, blues are odd. If we get another blue, blues are even again. So we can just feed that right back into there. I think this might be, we might be on the right path here. Okay, if we get to here, reds are even. Or here, reds are even. Feed back to there. Or no, okay, if we get to here, reds are even. We feed back to here, reds are odd again. Feed out to here, both are even. Same way over here. So both are even coming off there. Where do we even feed that in? Because we have this tile, and this tile receive inputs that both are even. However, we still have tape to run. I think what I need to do is change this up a little bit. And And that gives us a little bit of space. To do like this. Now we somehow need to figure out how to make everything else fit around there. Basically, we need to do this again, but for blues. Also, these are burn pits, I think. Wait. If we do like that, both are odd. Blues are even. Blues are odd. Or all are even. Okay, this might actually function. We used up every little bit of our space, and we can only save a little bit of it. Let's see. I have this terrible feeling that this is not going to work. Well, let's try it. Oh, wait. It's working! There's no way we unlocked. Oh, we got the medal for time. Needed 50 or less. We got 42. Okay. This can be done with 4 scanners. And a 25 area. Okay, how in the hell? Wait. Oh. That's how in the hell. No, that doesn't make sense. Okay, we have 4 duplicates of the same exact circuit, basically. Oh, wait, that is how in the hell. Okay. Let's delete all of these but one. Okay. So now, you feed into there. You feed into there. And you, this side, feeds into this, I think. So let's grab this. I think this will work. Nope. Okay, they're both odd at this point. And that should have... Okay. Okay. So, red feeds into this side. Blue should feed into this side. So far, so simple. Okay. Because this is basically my setup was made up of 4 of these. I have no accept spots. That's true. Wait, what the heck? They ran a bunch of tests and they succeeded, I thought. Apparently not. Okay, anyway. Yes, you're right, Dread. I have no accept spots. Let me look at this. Supposedly we're supposed to be able to do it with this many. Which is insane to me, but anyway. Blue goes this way, feeds into here. Red goes this way, feeds into there. So they feed into opposite sides. where would we even put accept spots? Red, blue. We're currently odd. If it comes through and it's white, it should accept it. It doesn't, obviously. Because it dumps it in the garbage. Because if it's red and then white, it should dump it. Okay, this is the accepted solution. What are the differences here? These two are identical. In every way except who gets fed into what. No, these are actually identical in every way. These are also identical, more or less, except that if I actually wanted to remove one of these, I would have to feed the output from this one into this side or that side. That's the only difference. Which I think I could actually do. Okay. I could actually remove some of these. I'm just trying to figure out here. The ends both feed into the middle of one of these. Let me look at something here. Red, red, boom, gets dumped in there. Okay, so we can't. Well, baby steps. I think I can get rid of one of these. And maybe one of these. Is this the only tile? Are these two the only tiles that feed into either of these? I think so. Which means I should be able to delete one of these with the condition that this then has to feed into here, which it obviously isn't doing at the moment. But I can do that by just reversing the direction. Let's see if this functions before we get too excited. It does. Okay. So we're rid of half of the machinery. Obviously it's slower, but it is more compact now. Next step is getting rid of one of these halves. I think the way to do it is change the orientations of everything here. Let's try to build one of those vertically. So we need to have red feed to red, oops, and blue feed to blue, like so. And then we have this one feed like that, burn pits in the middle. And then we have that's not right at all. White feeds forward into a burn pit. Okay. Blue feeds into the red outward side. So that's wrong. This should be right. And then these both feed into the middle here. Okay. These sides back of this. Like so. And these sides need to go into the back of those like so. That should maybe work. Oh. There we go. No, it doesn't. Okay, we're at 2. Oh. Wait, this is screwed up. This goes forward. Red this way. Blue that way. It's currently both odd. Come here. Oh. Wait. Okay, let's save this design. And let's go back to the last successful solution here. Look at this again. Oh. These don't... No, wait, they do reject. Okay. And this rejects. What? Are we feeding these in the wrong way? I think maybe we are. No, we're not. Oh, I'm an idiot. These don't get fed in there. They get fed in the middle. Like that. Yeah, this works. Okay, we still have 3 too many things. We still have 3 too many of these. But it functions. Now, how can we reduce this? The problem I'm having here I don't see how I can get rid of 3 whole things here. Because these, they serve different purposes. This one ensures that both numbers are currently odd with tape left to run. It'll bounce around in here until both are odd with tape left to run, and then it will eject it. And this one makes them odd again. No. Okay. How... If I can get rid of this middle one, or make it so that this can never be reached, except by valid ones, then I could possibly get rid of this. So where are the plausible rejections coming from for here? If we come through, if it's 0, it'll go straight through and draw dump. That could be solved. Otherwise, if we get a red, if we just get 2 reds in a row or 2 blues in a row, it'll go here and get dumped. How can we solve that problem? What happens if we don't feed through here and just feed straight into here? Let me think about this conceptually for a second. This would allow through anything that doesn't have either. That's bad, we can't have that. However, ignoring that, if it's got 2 reds, it gets dumped in here. 2 blues, it gets dumped in there. Okay, so it doesn't solve anything. Matter of fact, it just makes it worse. Where could we even put accept spots here? Maybe I'm looking at this wrong. Maybe this configuration doesn't do the job after all. Maybe we need to split it in half. Okay, so this is currently our solution with the fewest scanners. So we can easily get it back. Also, I think I saved it, but let's drag it off, just drag the core of it off to the side. Let's try to make 2 pairs like this. And then that's probably not correct, but this is the number we can have, 5. 4. Is it 5 or is it 4? I think it's only 4, so we can't even have that. So I'm not sure where we even feed into this system. But if we fed into here, if it's got 1 red, it would eject out the side. If it's got a blue, it goes this. I just keep coming back to the fact that these triplets just magically ensure that nothing can escape unless they have both red and blue, and that is a critical component of this system. Because this ensures that there is both red and blue. This little block right here. Nothing can get out either side unless there's both red and blue. Furthermore, nothing can escape out either side unless they are also both at that moment also odd. So really, we need some way to detect if we fed them back into the start and we had the start dump any white ones onto an accept, I think that would, no, it wouldn't function because, yeah, it would actually function, I think. The problem is that we can have 0 to 11. If it was 1 to 11, I think that might be able to be workable, because then you would never have a robot come in that starts white, or, you know, starts with an empty tape. But since we have robots coming in that start with an empty tape, we have to reject those. I wonder if I feed the ends together, what would happen? But then we get to the point of where do we put the accepts? We somehow need to detect I think we could make this simpler. Maybe. If we fed these blues into this side, maybe? No. There's no way. Let me think about this for a second. Okay, at this point, they are both guaranteed to be odd. And unless they go out here, they still have tape to run, of course. Okay, what's the guarantee for here? When they get to this point, they have at least one blue. That is the only guarantee. And blue is odd. Because the only other way to get there is through here. So the only way to get here is to have blue guaranteed to be odd. The only way to get here is to have red guaranteed to be odd. However, there is no guarantee that if they are here that they have any reds at all. Once again, we're back to, I think we could feed these ends together. Just if we looped them across, so that one's coming out here, went in here, and the one's coming out there, went in here. I think that would work. But then, how do we detect which ones have run out of tape without having another? Well, let's try to connect the ends together at least. So you go this way around. This isn't going to work, obviously. Okay. Now, yeah, there's no way this could ever work because, I mean, obviously there's no place to put accept spots. And there's no way to feed these into something that could take accept slots. How is it even possible? You did way better on speed than the needed for the metal. But need 4 scanners? I just don't see how that's possible. And an area of 25 or less? I don't know. Okay, well, these two we both didn't get all the metals on. We got at least some of them though. Let's move on. There's no point beating our heads against it forever. Okay. Robots enter with 0 to 9 on their tape. Modify each robot's tape, removing the first command by moving the first command to the end. Produce empty robots as is. Okay, that should be really simple. Matter of fact, judging by the size of the area here, it is really simple. Boom, produce normals. And then we go stamper. Boom. Boom. That should work. Yeah. And I wouldn't be surprised if that got us almost all the rewards. Need 3 or less, got 4. Okay, well. That'll get us all the rewards. I should have done that way originally. For some reason I was like, oh, yeah, we'll do it the belts. Which was dumb. Yeah, okay, that was easy. Okay. Remove the first 2 commands from the front of the tape, reverse them, and put them on the back of the tape. Alright, that shouldn't be too hard. So, with 2 to 9, so this will never kick out a white. So we just want to strip off the first 2. Okay. So in this case, we have this is definitely not going to be the optimized solution, but it is a beginner solution. But in this case, we have red, then blue. So we do blue, then red. We're down here. We have red, then red. So no reversing need to be done. Over here, we have blue, then red. Down here, we have blue, then blue. Boom, 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 boom. Very straightforward. Definitely not the best way to do it. We got the speed reward, which I kind of half expected. We need to get it down to 9 instead of 11. We have to trim off 3. And an area of 15. Okay. Oh, that's easy. Okay, so we made the area. Now we're back to easy puzzles again. Yay! Okay. And now we need to get down to 9 stampers. Okay. We need to get rid of 3 stampers. And the way to do this is probably going to involve making things much less compact. Like this. As a start. Okay. And don't need that anymore. That gets rid of 2 stampers. I think that's actually acceptable. Yeah, 9, 10, 11. Ta-da! It's all gold. Okay. I don't know why I was saying 3. There's no way. Robots enter with 0 to 11 on their tape. Accept robots enter with a tape beginning and ending with the same command. Junk the rest. Okay. That's going to be interesting. Okay. So we do 2 copies of the circuit. We want to... Oh, how are we going to do this? I think we might want to use something like that. The colors might be wrong, but red goes this way. Okay, red goes this way, shuffles back and forth until white is hit. Okay, in this case, red goes there. Then we shuffle back and forth on blues. No, this circuit isn't going to work at all. I don't even know what I was thinking. Oh, it's midnight already. Well, we'll at least get something working for this puzzle before I quit for the night. It's like, oh, I wonder what time it is. It's midnight, you idiot. Well, I guess that's a rousing stamp of approval for this game. Let's see. If it goes this way, the last one has to be red. So, how do we detect okay, that would be acceptable. Let me think about this. Red gets here. If that was the last one, boom, we're done. If it was not the last one, actually wait, that also needs to be an accept because it can be 0 to 11. Actually wait, do those get jumped? Junked? Does a 0 bot get jumped? Junked? A 0 bot gets junked. But a single command gets it okay. Okay, that's easy enough to work with then. Okay. So in this case, it goes red. You can shuffle back and forth between here, but no matter what, if it's on one of these two, the last red thing was red, and therefore it can be accepted. As far as blues go, we can have blues in the middle, that's fine. Let me think about this for a minute. If blue goes this way, we need to eat all the blues out. But then we need to feed back into this system here to check to see if there's any reds after we get the last blue. The problem is, we can't just do the simple case of that, where we just cycle here for blues, because if we read the last blue, then this will eject out this way. And that is very wrong. So we would need to do something like this. Matter of fact, that might actually be the right way to do it. Okay, let me think about this. Red, 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 red. Dumps in one of these. If it finds a blue, it jumps back and forth. If it runs to white in any of these cases, it gets dumped. Unfortunately, if it happens to be over here and reads a red, then it ends up in the red eating side, and that is wrong. If it ejects out this side, then it needs to be run back into here. Of course, we have the whole problem of that we're not dealing with the ejecting out the bottom sides here. Yeah, this isn't going to work. Because, yeah, problems. We basically just need to know what the last one was before it gets dumped. That one. There's got to be an easy way to do this. Okay, let's test the easy case of just a bunch of reds. Yeah, this is going to work fine for that. But if we have a blue in the middle, or red in the middle for blues starting, we just need to eat them somehow. Unfortunately, there's no simple block to do that. Just scanners. I wonder if we do... Okay, wait a second here. If it gets rejected upward with a blue, if we have a completely separate, like that, this would consume all the blues and eject a red back down into here or up and out into here. And then we would need to feed this end and this end, connect them to each other. Yeah. Problem is it has to be a bidirectional link. And trying to do, unfortunately there is no way to do a bidirectional link. But this is, I think, on the right track for a working solution. Obviously very unoptimal, but working. Yeah, because this will consume all the blue. And that'll consume all the blue. This is wasting stuff like crazy. We really need to just feed into here. On both sides though, which is the problem. We can't do like this, because that would mess it up if there was a that would work, except this won't. And also this is getting massively bulky. That might work. I'm just gonna have to build the whole damn thing identically, but reversed over here. Okay. Don't know if this will work yet, but we'll see. Obviously, this isn't going to be winning any awards of any kind. But it might at least work. I highly doubt it's going to get a speed reward, although I could fix that. Actually, before I even look at this... Okay. That'll probably work. And it'll be a bit more compact. Okay, that just got us a win, but it didn't get us any kind of bonuses. Longest time, 23 is the goal to be. We're over that. Number of scanners, 5. We have 13. And area, 20. We have 56. So we're basically blowing out all the metrics pretty massively. So, 5 scanners, huh? This has the benefit of being simple, blocked to get, modular, and symmetrical, which are all things I value, but unfortunately those aren't things that get you good scores, so. Are any of these duplicates of each other? Yes. Actually, they are. I wonder if I could delete the bottom halves if I just... Let's try this. I'm not even going to try to figure out if it's going to work. I'm just going to try it. It is working. Okay. So this will be slower. But we are a lot closer in size and machine count. We only have 2 machines too many now. Where can we trim a machine? Or more particularly, where can we trim 2 machines? I think we can trim these end ones. Just by feeding them back into themselves. Again. Let's try that. This probably isn't going to work, but let's try it. Oh, yep, it is going to work. Okay. That opens up a lot of possibilities here. Specifically, that should get us the other rewards, I think. All of them except maybe speed. Oh, wow, it actually got a speed too. Heck yeah. Okay, that was actually way easier than I thought it was going to be to compact. All right. It's actually pretty elegant too. On that note, though, it is well after midnight, which is well after when I normally end. So I think I'm going to probably call it a night here. I don't know if I'll stream more of this or not. I might try to install it on the Steam Deck, though. Play it there a little bit, maybe. But it was definitely fun. Tomorrow is Thursday, I think. Yes, it is. Well, okay, I shouldn't say tomorrow. Today is Thursday. Which means Nostalgia Night. So that will be Tropical 4 again. And after that, we're going to do some X4. Is there anybody who's live with anything interesting? Wasted is doing Conan Exiles. I used to play that. Let's raid Wasted. We haven't raided Wasted in a long, long time. Wasted Space does not have a space in his name. But anyway. Yeah. I will see you all later. And I hope you all have an awesome night. Let's go see Wasted. See if he's getting his ass killed over and over again. Or if he's actually succeeding or building a cool thing or something. We'll see. Anyway. Yeah. See y'all later and have a good night.